He comes into the store and he says to me, "Hi, excuse me, can I buy some batteries?" Which to me was very confusing because we're a coffee shop. We don't look like anything other than a coffee shop. Hi, I'm Stephen Prime. I'm the owner of Esquires Coffee here at the Coventry Transport Museum. We've been open for nearly 13 years now. We opened in 2008, so we've been here quite a while. Over 13 years, our primary customers have changed a lot. When we first opened in 2008, it was more kind of the older generation and visitors to the Coventry Transport Museum. But now, in the past few years, there's been a lot of development going on in Coventry where there's a lot of student development have popped up. So I'd probably say now that probably 50% of our trade are visitors to the Coventry Transport Museum, but then the majority of the other half probably is students. But then we still get kind of the older generation coming in for their afternoon teas and scones with Clotty cream and jam. Oh, there's so many things that go into what makes a good coffee. It's a very specific and process-driven process. From our end, we grind the coffee to order. So that's one of the key things. If you grind the coffee, it's only got maybe an hour once it's ground for it to be used. But as soon as you grind the coffee, the quality of the coffee deteriorates as the air gets into the coffee. So it's important to grind the coffee straight away and then to brew the espresso immediately afterwards. But to create the perfect espresso, it's actually a 12-step process. And if you change any part of that process, it ultimately affects the quality of the coffee at the end. And it's very, very scientific, even to the point where to check that the espresso that we produce is to the right standard, every morning and every afternoon the staff have to brew off two shots of espresso. They will weigh the coffee before it goes into the espresso machine, but then also time how quickly it takes for the espresso to come through the machine. If it comes through too quick, then the coffee is too coarse, so the water kind of just passes through the coffee too quickly, so you haven't got it as strong. But then the problem with the other side of that, if it's too fine, then the coffee is too strong and it gets a bit too bitter. So it's like an optimum 25 seconds for the perfect espresso to come through the machine. Esquires has got a great blend. Because they're a franchise, you've got the blend of the support of being a national chain, support with new product development, support with store designs, but then also being part of a franchise, you've got the other element of that, and that is essentially the franchisee. The franchisee can put their stamp onto each individual stores. So for example, my store here, we're very much geared around being a part of the Coventry Transport Museum. So when we designed the store, it was very much geared around Coventry and transport. So on the walls, we've got images that I selected from the Coventry Transport Museum archives. Had a look through and tried to find images that were interesting, but then specific to Coventry. One of the funniest moments of my time here was probably when I played a joke on one of my staff. And as a joke on that particular day, it was April Fool's Day, and I said to her that it was International Nickelback Day, so the band Nickelback. Told her it was International Nickelback Day, thinking that she wouldn't believe me. She believed me, and later on that day, I heard her telling customers that it was International Nickelback Day. So that's probably one of the funniest moments. We've had a lot of highs and lows during the various lockdowns, during the period that we've had COVID. My lowest moment had to be in January of this year. For the first lockdown, there was a lot of immediate government support, and it did feel as though everybody was in this together. So it was an easy decision to close and to do what we needed to do. But then in January, when the kind of third lockdown started, it was tough because at that particular moment, the money that was in the company account was going down quite fast. The government had said that there was going to be support, but it hadn't come through yet, and that the local authority wasn't telling us what money we were entitled to. And at that point, I was well into my overdraft, and I couldn't see a way out of it at that particular time. That has got to be the lowest moment. It was a tough thing to take, a tough process to go through. My highest moment will have been probably only about a month after that, and that was purely because of that situation we were in. I was working hard to try and find what other grants that we potentially could get, and the key grant that we managed to get was from the Arts Council. We put an application with the Arts Council and managed to get £78,000 back from their Cultural Recovery Fund, which has given us the opportunity to recover from the quite large negative figure that I was at, but then also it gives us the opportunity now for the next 3 months to relaunch and refresh the business. And at that point, when I heard about the grant, I could then start to see a way out of the situation that we were in. As an advice to fellow franchisees and to other business owners, is just to try to keep the faith, and try to keep the faith that we will recover, we will bounce back from this situation, things will improve. I think I read today that Barclays, the boss of Barclays, is now saying that we're going to be entering the biggest economic boom since after World War II. So I think prospects are looking better, and that the silver lining is that things will get better in the next 6 months to a year, and we will not only recover but be in a better position than what we were. When customers book with Hotdesking, they would expect when they got here to have a desk, a chair, a plug socket, access to our Wi-Fi, but then also they would have the opportunity to either pick brunch or lunch, and they would be able to get some of our fantastic coffee throughout the time.